collar, white collar, black professors, white scholars, politicians, Dalai Lamas. Everybody in the whole wide world need hope if I be honest. I'm in that number.
Hey, this is Rob Brown with the Rob Report. In efforts to start a apocalyptic war with Israel getting involved in Syria, soon Iran to get involved, Palestine to get involved, and then next thing you know, we got a world war starting from the Middle East, branching on out. We Americans really have to stand for us not getting involved with stuff that has nothing to do with us. Case in point, Syria. Here's a BBC article, Syria conflict. Putin orders Eastern Ghouta humanitarian pause. Russian President Vladimir Putin has ordered a daily humanitarian pause in fighting in the Eastern Ghouta enclave, Syria. It will start on Tuesday and include the creation of a humanitarian corridor to allow civilians to leave. A little different from what we're doing in Northern Africa. Blocking everything, allowing Saudi Arabia to block these people from getting food, getting clothing, getting shelter. We're allowing the Arabs, and we gave them the weapons and the money to do genocide, thanks to Donald Trump and thanks to I won't say Mike Pence, but pretty much thanks to Steve Bannon hooking that deal up where we don't have to go in there and cause genocide as a nationalist or white nationalist or American nationalist. We ain't got to go in there. We'll pay, and what a smart way to do it. We'll pay the Arabs to go in there and do it for us. Our hands are clean, buddy. We ain't got to do it. It can't be blamed on us. No, sir. Can't be blamed on color. It can be blamed on religion. It can be blamed on the Wahhabism of Saudi Arabia. And right now, Saudi Arabia is doing blockades, and people in different places like Nigeria and things like that are not able to get food, clothing, and shelter because of the bombing that we're pushing them to do down there. And we're down there with them to do it. The rebel-held area has been under intense bombardment by the Syrian government with Russian backing for over a week. See, they asked for Russia help. They asked for it. It has led more than 550 deaths, according to the monitoring group. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu made the announcement saying that the ceasefire would run from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. local time daily. In other words, between 9 and 2, they're allowing people to get the humanitarian effort they need. Would America do the same thing? He said more details on the corridor will be released soon. The United Nations Security Council unanimously called for a 30-day ceasefire on Saturday. The resolution demanded that all parties cease hostilities without delay to allow aid deliveries and medical evacuation. Russia had been accused of delaying the UN vote for several days by asking for changes to be made to the draft. The UN General Antonio Guterres has described the situation as a hell on earth and demanded immediate action. The UN resolution applies to the whole of Syria. However, the primary intention is to stop the government attacks on Eastern Ghouta, where some 393 civilians are trapped. Rebels in the enclave would also have to stop firing shells into Damascus. An act that has also killed civilians. The resolution allows operations against groups that the UN regard as terrorists, including the Islamic State jihadist group, to continue. On Sunday, airstrikes by the U.S.-led multinational coalition, led by U.S.-led multinational coalition against ISIS killed at least 10 civilians. So we're leading the coalition, and we killed 10 civilians in the eastern province of Deir al-Zur. According to activists, we've killed 10 people, buttoning stuff that had nothing to do with us. What is happening now in Eastern Ghouta? The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, a UK-based monitoring group, said 31 people have been killed in the enclave since UN resolution passed. On Monday, 17 people were killed in the air and artillery strikes on the towns of Douma and Arasta, it said. The Syrian Civil Defense, a rescue organization whose volunteer operates in the number of rebel areas, said 9 civilians had been killed in a strike on one building in Douma. Casualties were also reported following what the opposition newspaper Enab Baladi reported was a ground offensive by pro-government forces that rebels repel. The official Syrian news agency, meanwhile, cited police as saying civilians have been injured in the government-controlled Qassa area in Damascus by shells fired by Eastern Ghouta rebels. Ambulance drivers reported a chlorine. Now, the next question is, there may have been another attack, a chlorine attack on Sunday. Ambulance drivers reported a chlorine smell after a bombardment of airstrikes in the town of Al-Shifnaya. Maybe they bombed the laundromat. Could that ever came across your mind? Workers within the opposition-run health ministry said that there had been a mission on Sunday of people suffering symptoms consistent with exposure to chlorine gas. They said 18 people have been treated with oxygen nebulizing session, that one male infant had died, and that 4-month-old baby was on ventilator. It is unclear whether the boy's death was related to gas or exposure. The Syrian American Medical Society, a relief organization, also told the BBC there were patients suffering from symptoms indicative to exposure to chemical compounds. None of the reports could be independently verified. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, I love trying to say that name, said on Monday that the bogus stories about the use of chlorine was a provocation intended to sabotage the UN resolution. The Syrian government has repeatedly denied using chemical weapons, and still to this day denied that. However, a joint investigation by experts from the UN and the Organization for Prohibiting of Chemical Weapons concluded 2 years ago that the government force had used chlorine as a weapon at least 3 times between 2014 and 2015. How do you know? What do you have to prove that they did that? The expert also, it gets me when they say expert, never talk about the person. The expert, they could be making this stuff up. The expert ate hamburger while he was flying on a red carpet in the Syria, and people will believe that. The expert also confident that the government forces used the nerve against Syrian in the attack on the northern rebel-held town of Khan Shikan last April, killing more than 80 people. So ceasefire is good, so we can get these people some food, get these people some shelter, let them get some rest before the bombing begin. Hopefully they'll come up with some kind of truce before. Seems like the Republicans and Syrians are running pretty smooth together, but there's opposition force, and who's going to feed the opposition force? Our country. Instead of letting it be. Let it be so these people can fix their country. I'm Bob TV Brown, with the Rob Report. Talk to you soon. Peace. Hey, if you like the content and if you like this particular video, please like it, share it. Also, if you want to become a patron, you can click the link below and become a patron. I'm no Don Lemon, thank God. So again, like, share, subscribe to the channel. We're over 1,500. We're on the march to 5,000. Please click the subscribe button and hit the notification button so you can know exactly when I put a new video up. If you like the content, hit our Patreon account up. A few bucks to get a brother a cup of coffee, maybe a hot dog and a soda from 7-Eleven. Even though